So, what is the most important thing to know? The most important thing to understand is that every time has a purpose. Now, this happens on a macro level and it happens on a micro level. There's the general purpose of the time that we're in right now, and every generation also has a specific Moses. Let me tell you a story. There was a man by the name of Professor Hasofer. He was in what was it? It was Hobart, Tanzania, I think it's called. And he wasn't a religious Jew, but he started to read the Tanakh, the prophets, and he realized that in every generation there was a prophet. So he said that there must be a prophet in our time too, and he put out, I don't know, some kind of airwave message. And literally within 2 weeks, he sees two people looking like myself, young rabbinic students, walking the streets. He said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, we received a message from the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who literally was the prophet of our generation, the great Moshiahch, the great leader, scholar, saint. If you want to read more about him, go to therebbe.org. And he just suddenly told us to go here. And this happened countless times where the Rebbe would suddenly tell people, just go. I'll tell you another story where someone, I heard this from the guy himself, Rabbi Wolf, where, make a long story short, he was told by the Rebbe he had to find a girl in Australia. Imagine I say find a girl in America, find someone. So the Rebbe said, go to this and this city. So he books a plane, and the person he's sitting next to, she had some kind of diary, and as her diary opened, the picture of that girl was there. It happened to be, it was an employee of hers that worked in some remote place, and he went and he tracked down this girl and he brought it back to her family. So the Rebbe of the generation feels the soul of you, your soul. He knows you right now. There's a story where some young people, they went to visit the previous Rebbe. This was the Rebbe before our Rebbe, and they stopped off in Rogatchow. And in Rogatchow there was a great genius, and the person said to them, "Tell me, do you know what a Rebbe is?" So they weren't going to tell this individual what a Rebbe is. It's like Einstein tells you, "Do you know how to count?" So he said, "Listen, what a Rebbe is, even I don't know. But one thing I can tell you is every night he traverses the entire heaven. He looks at every single person and he does whatever he can to pray for them." It's an amazing statement. And in fact, I'll tell you another story, almost a first-hand story. There was a man who every week it's called Shalosh Seudos, it's the third meal of Shabbos, he would say a story of a tzaddik. And so I heard this from the guy who said the story himself. And this guy, he was traveling to a Caribbean island, maybe it was Curacao, and he saw there, from the original Jews that came to America, they settled on these islands. And I saw there a cemetery, a 300-year-old cemetery. So he thought to himself, I would really like a tzaddik, a righteous man, to pray for them. And so he wrote down the names, and he brought these names to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And he tells the Rebbe, "I'd like you to pray for these people in the cemetery." So the Rebbe says, "I do." So he said, "Rebbe, but here's the note." The Rebbe mentioned every single name. So not only is the Rebbe praying for you now, he's praying for all the souls of the past. And there are countless and countless stories. I don't want to go into all the stories of this reality. So the bottom line is that every generation has a Rebbe, and the Rebbe teaches us what is the mission of our generation. In our generation, we are right at the doorstep of Moshiahch, the full redemption. When the Moshiahch will come, clouds will come and will take us to Israel. There's the third holy temple in the sky, ready to come down. There'll be a resurrection of the righteous dead. Many amazing things are going to happen. And we make that happen through adding in our goodness and kindness, through adding in our Torah and Mitzvos, through dedicating. I remember once I went to, I was at a yeshiva, like a higher education of Jewish studies, but on a spiritual level. And I spoke to one of the students there, a great guy, and he said, "What did you do to bring Moshiahch today?" So I was quite proud of myself. I had learned 10 discourses, Hasidic discourse. It's not easy. It could take you an hour. I mean, a little quick, but it could take you an hour to do a single discourse. So I was proud of myself. I said, I learned 10. He said, did you do it to bring Moshiahch? In other words, it's not enough to do good. That's old stuff. You have to do good to bring Moshiahch. So that's on a global level what we have to do. Then on a local level, each one of us has an individual mission. Now, my individual mission took me a long time to realize to do exactly what I'm doing now, which is to teach Chassidus, to teach the wisdom that I received from the Rebbe, from all the great masters. And in fact, I have a great skill in doing that. But you have a different mission. I don't know what it is. You got to figure it out. But we all have a mission. And our mission is to figure out our mission, and most importantly, to do it.